part 2. Oh.
So we're gonna
FT the blue hand. I look so tan on this. I only missed one spot, and you can barely tell.
Mm-hmm.
Got our first viewers on. Hey everybody, starting to join. We're getting excited. We're gonna start at 5:30, so in 1 minute. We might start at 5:31, just kind of depends. This class will probably be about 40 to 50 minutes. I'll give it another minute and then we can just get started. If you haven't checked already, if you go to my Facebook page, Kamryn's Creations, you can go under this event and it has the recipe and all the measurements. So if you want to cook along with me, most of the stuff you probably have in your house. You can grab whatever vegetables you want to use and we can whip this together. Okay, so we are going to get started. My name is Kamryn. I'm the creator and owner of this business called Kamryn's Creations. What I do is I teach cooking, baking, and decorating classes. I do private events, birthday parties, and weddings, and now I teach virtual classes. Half of my proceeds go to local charities and organizations around our community, and the other half goes to my scholarship fund so I can attend the Culinary Institute of America after high school. I have everything ready to go. My oven is preheating at 425 degrees. I have all my vegetables, everything ready. It's been washed, and we're gonna prep everything and cook it in the oven. Like I said at the beginning, if you want to go to the event page, I do have the whole list of ingredients and measurements for today, and I will be mentioning all the measurements as we go today. So this video will be posted. So if you want to cook this up for dinner one night, you can go back to my video and follow along. Also, I do have a blue hand in case you're wondering. I've scrubbed most of it off, but I dyed my sister's hair today, so that is why it's blue. But with that, we can just get started. I have my recipe right here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to prep our vegetables. So this recipe calls for parsnip, but I went for broccoli instead because I enjoy broccoli more and the colors. I have red potatoes, orange carrots, green broccoli, and red onion, and colors are really appealing for when you're eating, so I try to get as much color in there as I can. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel my carrots and cut them. You can buy the smaller carrots if you'd like, but I got these so that I can cut them up. So I'm going to peel them. They've already been washed. I think I need a trash bowl. We got our camera lady behind the scenes getting on. Just like this. Until... Just getting all the skin off. Just like that. And then I'm going to cut the end off too, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm going to do that on all of my carrots. Now this recipe says that you want to use chicken thighs and chicken drumsticks, but we couldn't find any drumsticks at the store. So we just went with thighs. So you can really use whatever chicken you want and kind of just make the recipe match it. Got to get some of these. I have my trash bowl so that I don't have to go throw away all my ingredients while I'm cooking. It's actually really helpful and saves a lot of time when you're cooking, so it's not a bad idea to have one. There we go. Gotta do my other two. And I'm not the biggest fan of carrots raw, but I do enjoy them once they're cooked and roasted and soft and tender. People normally tend to like the food they make when they cook it themselves and they know everything that's going into it. So trying something new in the kitchen, so I normally wouldn't cook with carrots because I don't enjoy them, but cooking with them, I'm more willing to try them and eat them in my food, and it might work if you have a little kid at home that's a picky eater. Try having them help you cook, and they're probably going to be more willing to try it. Okay, so our carrots are almost completely peeled, and that was probably the longest part. Get all my scraps. I'm not going to peel the potatoes. I'm going to leave the skin on them. I do think that leaving the skin on the potatoes, it gives them another layer of texture because you have to bite through the skin. Also, I'm using mini potatoes. You can use whatever potatoes you want, but I think the mini ones are cute, so I went with those. And then I have to peel the top layer off my onion. Like this. My oven is done preheating. We're going to roast the vegetables before we cook our chicken on the pan. And this is a really easy one-pan recipe. So you can have everything cut up and ready the night before and throw it together and put it in the oven. That would work really well. Trying to make sure I get all the skin off. There we go. And I'm really hoping this onion doesn't make me cry. If you have goggles, that might work. And I'm only going to use about half the onion because I'm doing half the recipe. This is the last part of the skin. It's kind of, if you've ever peeled garlic, it's kind of the same thing. Except for garlic, they make a fun tool that cuts it down to about 1 second when peeling it. And they don't make those for onions. Okay. Almost there. There we go. Okay. So our onion is completely peeled. Trash it in the trash bowl. Now I can start cutting everything. So I'm going to kind of set this aside. Yeah, take this. I just have a basic knife. Set this off to the side. I'm going to start with my carrot, so I'm going to cut the top of my carrot and the bottom. Cut that off, and then I'm going to cut it in half. And I would love to use rainbow carrots for this recipe, but I couldn't find any. So if you can find rainbow carrots, I'd use them. And then I'm just going to set these on my cookie sheet. And it has been lined with foil. It's going to make the cleaning up so much quicker. Just like that. Kind of like carrot sticks. So I'm going to continue to do that for my other few. I have 2 more carrots to go. Just like that. I'm being really careful when I'm cutting them. This one, you might have to cut like this. Yeah, that's pretty good. I just want them in smaller pieces so I'm not cooking the whole carrot because that's going to be a little bit challenging to eat. Cut off the ends. in half. And then in half again. There we go. So not super tiny, but pieces where you'll be able to cut them up and eat them. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the broccoli, or I like to call them trees. I'm going to use about half of this broccoli. So I'll probably start by just cutting it in half and using one half of it. I'm setting the other side, my sister will eat it. Then I'm gonna cut it from the trunk of the tree and throw this away. And then don't want them too small, but this is a good size. Just like that. And it's already looking pretty vibrant over here on this tray. I'll show you it before it goes in the oven. And these have also already been washed. There we go. So it's already looking really colorful. I'm gonna do my potatoes next. That way if I start crying with my onion, I do not have to go through the pain when cutting my potatoes. My mini potatoes, I'm just gonna cut in half. These are so good. Recently, I baked these with some cauliflower and some Brussels sprouts, and I just put a mix of a little cayenne, a little paprika, some salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder and oil, and it was so good. And I just roasted them for, I think I did for 25 minutes. So you could do this recipe without chicken, or you could do just chicken. It's really up to you. And then you can kind of tell, you'll see. I did a little bit more potato than anything else. My bad. I probably won't use all of them because I have picked out a lot. That's probably good. Just like that. And then I'm gonna do my onion. I'm only gonna use half the onion. I actually might end up using a quarter of it. I'm not a big onion fan, but it adds a lot of flavor instead of like substituting garlic powder or onion powder for it. I recommend using the actual onion because the juices will come out in the oven and kind of soak everything up and make everything taste 10 times better. Even if you don't like onions. Yeah, I'll probably only use a quarter of this. I'm gonna cut the top and the bottom off. Just like that, and this can go. And then I'm also gonna do the bottom. And then I'm just going to cut it into wedges, so I don't want to actually like dice it up really small. Always cut away from you, so just like this. I'm actually gonna get rid of that. Just like this. And then just spread these out on your cookie sheet. And feel free to ask questions during the cooking process because we'll have a little bit of downtime. So I'll have time to answer some questions. Okay, so I have all my vegetables prepped. I'll show you what they look like. This one's rolling. It's super colorful, very appealing to the eye. And that's a really big goal in the food industry, is making things look pretty and taste good. So now I'm going to put a few seasonings on it before I throw it in the oven. I'm going to put on 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm just going to kind of drizzle this on. Then I'm going to add a little bit of thyme. Oh, let me move this up. Just like that. You can mix it up a little bit if you want. I'm just going to a little, just so everything gets coated and mixed. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to take some thyme. My hands are oily. Can I have a napkin? My eyes are watering, guys. Hopefully I don't start crying. This is really strong. It's like the smell. If you freeze an onion, if you put it in the oven, or not the oven, if you put it in the freezer, hi Amber, and you freeze it, you're way less likely to start crying because the juices freeze together, and then you don't get as strong of a smell or the juices all over your fingers. It's super helpful. I have done it before, but we're just going with the flow on this one. I'm going to take my thyme and sprinkle it on. I'm only doing a little bit because thyme is a very pungent flavor, and I don't want it to overpower everything. So that looks good. And then I'm going to put a little bit of salt. And I'm going to salt and pepper from up here because spices and seasonings get spread out more evenly. So I'm going to put some in my hand. I want to do a good amount. I'm going to take this. Have you guys ever seen that meme with the salt guy and he's like, just like that. Okay, so this is all ready. This is going to go in the oven for about 15 minutes and it's going to start smelling really good. So I'll hand this over to my assistant. The oven's preheated to 425 and these are going to go in for 15 minutes. I'm going to kind of clean up while these are baking and probably just talk a little bit. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Like I said, we got a little bit of free time right now, so feel free to ask anything. I'll probably just start talking if you don't. These are done. Kind of wipe this up. Can I get a dry napkin? And then also let me know if you guys are making this or if you plan on making it soon. If you do end up cooking it, or if you were on my live last night where I made some hamburger cupcakes, that was super fun. They turned out really cute. I did post something about it. If you want to, if you took that class and you did everything and made your hamburger cupcakes, if you post it and you tag me in it, I'll give it a comment and might repost it. Yeah, let's fill it up. So I'm just going to kind of talk for a little bit. So I did introduce myself in the beginning. My name's Kamryn. I've done a lot of things that have led up to this point. I was on MasterChef Junior Season 5 and I was 11 years old, and that's kind of where my journey started. I was cooking a little bit before that. I actually had a little bit of private training with the Willow Tree's head chef. He doesn't work there anymore, but he was super helpful in making me successful on MasterChef. And then after that, I started Kamryn's Creations because people started asking for baked goods, but I've always had a passion to give back to my community, and I knew I wanted to go to the Culinary Institute of America as soon as I knew I was interested in the culinary world. So I figured out how to adjust Kamryn's Creations to giving back and being able to attend the college I want to go to. A little bit after that, me and my grandma, we went to Bake It Like Buddy. So if you've ever seen Cake Boss with Buddy Valastro, he was the host of the show. I got to meet him. We flew to New Jersey. It was an amazing experience. Met some incredible cake decorators. Unfortunately, we did not win, but it was all worth it. After that, I'm actually in a magazine. It's called Saginaw Township Living. I have my own recipe column where I put a new recipe in for every month, and you might get this magazine. If you've gotten them for a while, you probably have a lot of recipes from me by now, but they're super fun to try. You're probably going to have some free time around now, so this would be when to get cooking. I do have a few sponsors. I'm sponsored by Pioneer Sugar, Michigan Sugar. They're right there. And they provide me with all my sugar for classes, for all my baked goods, for events, for live videos. So they're very, very helpful. If you ever go to your local grocery store, make sure to pick up some Pioneer sugar because it's amazing. I'm also sponsored by Crane's L&M Appliance Store. If you have noticed, I do live videos at the moment, but when I'm not doing live videos, I teach in-person classes at Crane's L&M Appliance Store on Bay Road. What I do is you sign up for the class, you come sit down, we have everything ready for you, and you cook along with me, and you make your meal, you put it in a take-home container, you get to try it there and then take it home. You make quite a bit of food. We also do baked goods. So we do cake decorating, we do macarons. If you've ever seen a French macaron, I do teach how to do those. I do cookie decorating classes, so a little bit of everything. If you guys have some ideas on something you'd like to learn, let me know in the comment section and I'll get a class up for you guys. I'm also sponsored by Michigan Dairy. So I am a Michigan Dairy influencer, so I post pictures with Michigan Dairy products, and they can repost me sometimes, and they're one of my sponsors also. So those are my 3 main sponsors. I mean, I use quite a bit of Starbucks cups for macaron classes, so Starbucks, if you want to sponsor me, I'm open to that. That's kind of where I am right now. Like I said, if you have any questions about what we're doing today, what's coming up, anything about me personally, just let me know. I have posted today a few more classes for live streams. So I posted a cookie class, and you can get a kit with this one. So what a kit is, it comes with all of the non-perishable items and the decorating equipment you need for this recipe. And then I do a live stream at whatever time it's planned for, and I make it, and you get to make it in your house along with me. And it's very fun. That's what we did last night for our hamburger cupcakes. If you like cooking, you like baking, come watch my live stream Saturday morning. I'm going to be making pancake bites, and it's super fun, super easy. It's a really good breakfast thing, and I also read a story. So if you're looking for something to do Saturday morning, come join the live stream. It's going to be super fun, super cute, and probably something that you're going to make again. I can already smell our vegetables roasting. Yeah, is anybody else cooking up right now? I can hear all the vegetables sizzling in the oven. So right now I'm going to season my chicken. So, like I said, I have chicken thighs. They look like this. I took the skin off of mine, but that's completely up to you. I'm just going to season them with some salt and pepper pretty heavily. Once again, I'm going to season from above. Going to get my salt. And season. And you want to always make sure having meat that's well seasoned, it really ups the level of the flavors. So making sure you put enough salt and enough pepper and enough of whatever seasoning you're using really transforms the dish from expectations to reality. Get rid of the extra salt. And then I do have some pepper. I always put my ingredients in my hand before putting them onto whatever I'm making, so I know how much of the pepper is going on my chicken, so I don't accidentally spill the whole bottle onto my chicken, because then I'd have pepper chicken. Just like this. You can hear our oven. It's a little old. It's a little used. I use it every day, so. And then if you want, I'm probably going to just kind of massage this in a little bit. Make sure it gets on the chicken pretty good. You can season both sides. That's up to you. Up to you. I'm just doing the one side. We are going to put a glaze, the honey mustard glaze on it. So I'm not seasoning both sides. This is just going to be so good. I'm so excited. I was looking forward to this ever since we posted it because I love cooking and I'm always trying to find excuses to cook or bake. So this was perfect. And I get to eat it all after, so. Yeah, so I said this at the beginning. If you have a different type of chicken you're cooking, you can probably do your vegetables. If you're ever cooking, you can use the same glaze for all kinds of chicken. You can just whip it up and put it on as an easy glaze for like on the grill or for like pan searing. Same thing goes for vegetables. I used thyme, oil, and salt on those, and they're going to be just amazing. And I'm just cooking them till they're tender. And you can do that on pretty much whatever vegetables you find in your house, whatever's in season. I have some asparagus and some Brussels sprouts and some cauliflower in my fridge right now that if I really wanted to, I could have cut up, put on there. It would have been just as good. So, yeah. Also, another really easy recipe if you're ever at home, if you take asparagus, because it was on sale when we went to the grocery store, and you wrap it in prosciutto and some cheese, it is so good. And then you just bake it in the oven for a few minutes. It's amazing. It's a really good and easy side dish, so if you're making a big dinner, that would be really good to go with it. So I'm going to kind of let these rest for a few minutes. It's just going to really absorb like the salt and the pepper into the chicken, and it's going to make it amazing. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then we have about 5 minutes left on our vegetables. I'm going to kind of clear this off a little bit. Also going to go wash my hands real quick, so it'll be a second. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we go. Had to wash my hands. My blue hands. Kind of looks like a Smurf. There we go. Oh yeah, I made it. Okay. Our vegetables, they actually smell so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so looking forward to that. Always try to use the onion and the really strong vegetable flavors in your cooking instead of substituting them for spices that are maybe labeled with that vegetable, because the real vegetable, it's so good, and it's all in there for like a reason. So let it cook together. You don't have to eat the onion, but it's gonna add some juiciness to all your vegetables and your chicken and make it really good. So our vegetables are looking pretty good, so we're gonna take them out now. Yeah, set it like up here. And I'm also gonna need the tongs. Put this one up here. This is our cat mat. We're very big fans of cats in this house. Oh yeah, it looks so good, and it is so bright. It is so pretty. Yeah, let's put it right here. You guys can see that. That looks amazing. It smells so good too. The thyme just opens up and flavors everything. I'm gonna kind of give it a little mix so it doesn't stick. Like right there. Oh no, it's not that hot. Just like this. Just give it a little mix. And then I'm going to put my chicken on it, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it out. like that. It's just sitting on top of the vegetables and it'll all cook together in the oven. So we'll put this in for about 10 minutes. And we're gonna make the sauce while this is going. Is it heavy? You got it? Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to making the sauce. Just gonna grab this bowl real quick. And we're gonna start combining our ingredients. So I have some honey, which you probably have in your house. I have mustard. It's not the type of mustard that you put on your hot dog. It's a mustard seed, so it still has little pieces of like the mustard left in there. Just a little bit of salt. You don't need too much. Then I'm going to add in a tablespoon and a half of Dijon mustard, so the Dijon mustard. Got my tablespoon. Just tap it out till it gets even. There, that looks good. And then I'm gonna dump this in. Perfect. And then I'm gonna do half of this. And this is because I'm making the half recipe, half of it. So if you're doing the full recipe, you do 3 tablespoons. There. I'm just gonna do the whole thing. Yeah. Well, there, now it's fine. I mean, it's better to have more sauce than like not enough, so. There. Okay, we have all our Dijon mustard measured in, and it looks delicious. I'm gonna set this off to the side. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of our whole mustard seed mustard. Got it. That doesn't fit. Thank you. Big stretch. Okay. Gonna measure this out till it's nice and even. There we go. Put 1 in. I'm gonna do 1 more. There. That looks pretty good. Okay, cool. I'm done with my whole mustard seed mustard. Then I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of honey. Honey stays good literally forever. So if you buy a little bottle, you'll probably continue to use it. There, that looks good. 1, and then I'm gonna do 1 more. And I'm not a really big mustard or honey fan, but I know it's gonna taste good. There we go, perfect. And dump this in. And then 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. I already have that measured out. I'm gonna pour it in. Oh, it's hard. I'm gonna get some. Using my Pioneer sugar. My handy little container. I did check. It is not hard yet, so all good. I'm gonna measure over this. That's about good. In cooking, I really do rough estimates because you can be a lot more lenient when you're cooking versus baking, because baking is like a science, so everything has measurement and has their purpose in the recipe. Where cooking, it's a little more free form. You can do whatever you want, combine different things together to create new things, where baking, that might not work so well. There we go. And then I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to make sure it gets well combined. Oh, it looks super good. Smells good too. Now, I've never actually had honey mustard, so when my mom likes honey mustard, so when she tries this, she's gonna have to tell me if it tastes like honey mustard, because I've never had that before. I'm gonna put this over here. So our chicken and vegetables have about 4 minutes. Once they come out, I'm gonna glaze the whole pan with this, and then we are gonna let it bake for about 25 minutes. Are you still going to do the macaron live in class? So what I have available, I have macaron kits, and they come with all the ingredients, a tube of buttercream, and the recipe sheet, and then we do send you the link to a video that has all my tips and tricks that come with the normal class. So if you are interested in learning how to do macarons, that would be something to sign up for. And it is virtual, it's a video, so if you have questions, just message me. I'm pretty good at getting back to you really quickly. But like I was saying, once this comes out, I'm going to glaze them, and then we're going to put it in for about 25 minutes. We are going to cut then, because we don't really have anything to do during that 25 minutes. So I'll end up posting a picture of what it looks like when I'm done, and so you guys can all see the final product. Scrape it down. Yeah, I do. I might need a basting brush if you can find one. Yeah. If not, I can use a spoon. So this is all set. And if you have the sprigs of thyme, those are really pretty to put on it, so you could lay those on top. That's okay, I'll use a spoon. Did I get lucky? I got lucky. We have one. Most of them are in the basement. That's where all my cooking stuff is. It's crazy down there. Okay. Wipe that up. So, I mean, this is pretty easy if you want to prep everything the night before, cut up all your vegetables and put them in a container together. You can season your chicken the night before, put some salt and pepper on them, saran wrap them up, put them in a bag, and keep them in the fridge, and then glaze them with the sauce. You can even make the sauce ahead of time. That would be really good for just cooking on the stove for a quick thing. Cook your chicken and glaze this. That would be really good. So you can do a lot of different things with this and cooking in general, with creating your own type of recipe. So don't be afraid to try new things. Okay. Our chicken has about 1 minute, so it's going to come out any second.
59.
No, it is not cooked yet. You do not want to eat your chicken when you take it out right now. If you eat it right now, you might get salmonella. So don't eat it right now. It still has to go back in the oven. Chicken is done once it reaches 165 degrees, and that's always the safe way to go. That or higher. Always, if you have a thermometer, instead of taking the chicken apart and looking at it, check the temperature, because it's true to its temperature. It's a lot better. That's what they do in restaurants, so you don't have to cut open the chicken. Also, if you notice the chicken is white, that's another good way to tell. It should not be pink at all. Okay? So we're gonna take our chicken and vegetables out right now, and oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, can I have that? Okay, thank you. Just like this. So, they're not done yet. There. I'm now going to baste them with my honey mustard. So I'm gonna start with the chicken, and if I have any left over, I'm just gonna put it on the vegetables. I'm just gonna kind of glaze it. Make sure you get all the sides, don't be shy. Just like this. Putting a nice thick amount on so that it bakes into it. It has a lot of flavor once it's out of the oven. And we have a little bit left. I'm just gonna kind of spread it out a little. You probably don't need to use all the sauce because I made a full amount for a half batch. So, there. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys before. This is what it looks like before it goes in the oven. For the last time, looks like this. We're gonna throw it in the oven for 25 minutes or until the chicken is completely cooked. It'll be about 25 minutes. Then I will post a photo of my chicken and vegetables, let you know how it was, and hopefully I see you guys back on Saturday morning bright and early for a pancake kitchen class with reading a book. So hopefully I see you there. Let me know how you thought. Let me know what you thought of this live stream and if you have any feedback for me. This is only my second time doing it, so I'm really looking for some constructive criticism. Okay, bye everybody, see you